these tapes would indicate that former President Trump knew that the documents that he had were classified. Does that not make his statements about blanket declassification and some statements by his representatives, wouldn't that make those lies?
Yeah, I'm not going to dignify the DOJ leak. What I will tell you is this. When you are, but this is addressing
you just don't want to address the substance.
Well, it'd also be nice if you let me answer. So let me just try to answer, because I am trying to be responsive, but I'm not going to bite on a leak campaign and try the case in the media. What I will tell you is there is no doubt that as commander-in-chief, and when the president left Washington, D.C. for Mar-a-Lago, he was actually still president. When he left for Mar-a-Lago with boxes of documents that other people packed for him that he brought, he was the commander-in-chief. There is no doubt that he has the constitutional authority as commander-in-chief to declassify. It does not have to go through some sort of bureaucratic process to be declassified.
But wouldn't it be very easy to simply prove that he just declassified them? Because even though he doesn't have to go through a process, he does have to decide that it's been done. Did he tell anyone?
Yes.
And can you prove it?
Sure, but we're not going to try.
Did he declassify this document that we're referring to?
We're not going to try the case leak by leak.
See, Abby Phillip, you're asking me a lot of questions that make me really uncomfortable. And if I have to defend him, that's sort of my job. But if I do that, I'll be lying. And I really want to be able to continue to do my job after Trump goes to jail. So I'm not going to dignify that by responding to it. I don't like that. While those are great follow-up questions by Abby Phillips, I don't like her saying he doesn't have to go through a process. Yes, he does. What are you talking about? Why are you ceding that to Jim Trusty? He definitely has to go through a process, but also it's irrelevant because he says on the tape he hasn't gone through that process. He didn't go through the process. He didn't telepathically declassify the documents. Months after he was no longer president, he said that they were classified. So I understand why Jim Trusty doesn't want to be pinned down on this and keeps evading and neo-dodging around the questions and everything. But it's super clear what's actually going on. And I wish that they would do a little bit better of a job of making sure that people knew what was actually happening. Jessica, what do you think?
I agree. I wish these guys didn't make so much sense. Like what Jim Trusty says there would make sense to the average person. It's like, okay, if Donald Trump had the power to declassify the documents and he just didn't sign the paper or whatever, and he just took them with him, what's the big deal? If he didn't just say, I'm declassifying them before taking them. The big deal is that Donald Trump doesn't know the sensitive nature of those documents. He probably doesn't even know the contents of all of those documents. And the process of declassifying them would involve meeting with people who know what's in there and what the consequences of declassifying them for national security might be. We don't know the extent of what contents are in those documents, and neither does Donald Trump. So should he be declassifying them? He doesn't even know the consequences of that. That's why there's a process there. I don't like bureaucracy either. I think we waste a lot of resources in some aspects of our bureaucracy, but this seems like a process that is actually very necessary.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, look, to the extent that it can be strengthened, I think coming out of this, whether it's just the Trump stuff or even finding out that Mike Pence had some documents and Biden had some documents, not documents that they, tried for months and months and months to keep against the rules. But either way, let's be much clearer about that sort of thing. It clearly is important. Also, can we just note the irony of Donald Trump being hounded for months during an investigation into him going way beyond the law to maintain possession of these documents, the exact sort of documents that he spent the 4 years that he was president doing everything he could to not read. The dude never wanted to see any of this stuff. And then as soon as he's on the way out, it's all he wants. It's like someone who only appreciates their partner when the threat of breaking up is all of a sudden there. Now you appreciate things about them. Dude, just spend some time with the documents while you're president, Put a ring on it. Anyway, we have more from Jim Trusty, specifically on why would he maintain possession of these sorts of documents having to do with foreign adversaries and national security.
Why would former President Trump have a document that seems to pertain to military plans regarding a very significant US adversary, have them in his possession and be discussing them with people who don't have an appropriate clearance, whether he declassified them or not? Why would he do that?
You know what's really fascinating about the leak is DOJ is trying to justify this persecution of the current administration's leading opposition by saying, oh my God, he had these sensitive materials that he shouldn't have had. And then they leak to you guys vivid details of a document that they say is classified. I mean, they can't have their cake and eat it too.
To be fair, these are not vivid. These are not vivid. To be fair, these are not vivid details of the document. Trump is on the video describing the contents of this document to people, biographers of his former chief of staff. So he's the one doing the describing.
That is, look, I get that Jim Trusty has a difficult job to do. Being Trump's lawyer is not easy. That's why so few people actually want to do it. Also because he doesn't pay. So I get why you might be forced to come out with some really weak arguments, but hey, if him talking about the docs is so bad, then why are you guys talking about them is not the legal defense that you think it is. I've talked about the documents on this show. Is that actionable information, what I've revealed? Are you gonna be able to craft like a military strategy to take out Iran based on what I've said or what Abby Phillip said? No, it's ridiculous. It's beneath everyone watching that video. Jim Trusty should know better, but what he also knows is his job is to go on the news so that the Trump team can say, look, we're not hiding or anything. We sent out Jim Trusty, but not actually say anything. Just do what you can to not get pinned down and hope that we can get through this thing. But that is maybe a PR defense. It's not actually a defense against the investigation.
Jim Trusty's just like, let them eat cake. Let's throw the documents off the roof of the building and call it a day. He's so done. I really want to know how Trump picked Jim Trusty as the lawyer. He was just like, okay, his last name is Trusty. Is he trusty? Good enough for me? Like that's how the conversation probably went. He's a good communicator, and that's really bad when someone who's Trump's attorney is a good communicator. But he really makes it seem like it's no big deal. And actually, the media are the bad guys because they told you about what's in the documents. We just had them in Mar-a-Lago. Don't worry about what foreign leaders of countries that might not be friendly to us saw them. The media leaked some stuff about what might be in those documents. So you guys are actually the bad guys. The way he flips the narrative is dangerous for him to be Trump's attorney. I hate it when anyone capable is around that man.
Yeah, I guess, but again, like the capability that you're identifying might serve him well in the context of an interview with Abby Phillip. That does not necessarily mean it's going to serve him well in a courtroom when Jack Smith is on the other side of the room. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe it will.
Depends on our judge.
100%.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.